Ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not.
Greetings, gentle viewers, and welcome to the second series of the Hagan Reviews. To celebrate this most amazing, unique, and perfect moment in human history, I'm going to murder 7,000 slaves. Just off screen. It's a pity you can't see over there. It's truly amazing, some of the things they can do with... Oh, it'll just have to exist inside your tiny, pathetic little mind's eye, I'm afraid.
Or we could move the camera, mistress.
No, you do not move the camera!
But all I have to do is...
No! You do not move the fucking camera!
But it's just a wall, mistress.
Anyway, this is from 1975, the work of director Brian Trenchard Smith, and is called The Man from Hong Kong. We open in Uluru, or Ayers Rock as you crazy white imperialists call it. Why there? Because Australia has like 2 landmarks that anyone gives a shit about. We seem to get a time-lapse shot of dawn over the rock, but with real-time jungle sounds. Proof that light travels faster than sound, I guess. Thin John Cleese is a criminal there to exchange bags with triad guy younger Sammo Hung. Very, very conspicuous bags. Luckily, there's an equally conspicuous cop there to take pictures of them. If anyone involved in this had been slightly competent, then the others would be at their mercy. The conspicuous cop is played by Roger Ward! The badass Australian actor who, by this point in his career, hasn't yet worked out that a shaved head and moustache is his ideal look. Besides being a member of the Triad, Sammo Hung is guilty of a much more heinous crime. One day starring in martial law. Thin young John Cleese spots Roger Ward and we hear 70s action music! Roger Ward chases Sammo Hung up the rock and hey! That's not one rock, that's many rocks! What a fucking chip!
It's actually sandstone, mistress.
What?
Yes, the sandstone is broken up over thousands of years, so it appears to be many pieces of rock, but it's actually still just one.
Well, it should be fucking protected by the original fucking gods then, shouldn't it?
Perhaps, I don't know. Maybe you should watch the film, mistress.
I will!
Very good.
Ward and Hung kick the crap out of each other on top of the rock. Given that this is a religious site, I really wonder how this would play out at the Kaaba. Probably very badly. Yeah, like that. Because this is one of the few films where a large, muscular white guy can defeat an Asian martial arts expert in one-on-one combat, Sammo was soon defeated.
Who sent you? Who do you work for? You're not used to them now? Yeah, and I love you too. Now what?
70s rock anthem! So, we're in Hong Kong and someone's hang gliding about. Now that's a Chekhov's hang glider if I've ever seen one. The glider lands in the middle of the grounds of the Hong Kong Police Special Branch Training Ground, allowing the user, a brunette from Australia, to become the first notch and star Jimmy Wang Yu's bedpost.
Tell me, Inspector, do you often take white girls to bed?
Only on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be the source of an ongoing joke, this review. So Jimmy Wang Yu goes to Australia to pick up Sammo Hung. There must be a penis joke in there somewhere. But before he gets on the plane, we get some truly weird airline travel music. Fat Chinese guy in black and white. Must be Sunday. No, I'm on business. So Jimmy Wang Yu meets up with Roger Ward and the aptly named Sergeant Gross.
Fancy a cup of tea?
Well, okay.
Good. There's a little cafe we have.
So they go to a little cafe at the Sydney fucking Opera House. The other Australian landmark that the rest of the world gives a shit about. Now this annoys me. The obviousness of the landmark placement. Sydney Airport is 10 fucking miles from Sydney. I looked it up. And then there's driving in Sydney and parking near the Opera House. Why not just take them to a fucking pub near the police station? Seriously, filmmakers of the future, please don't feel the need to put landmarks in your film. I believe you filmed where you filmed. I don't need it proven by pointless shots of landmarks. You're protesting too much and looking a bit insecure, almost as though you could only afford to film in South Africa with 2 days in Australia for pickups. So the Australian police have put relations with Asia back decades by locking their only Chinese prisoner in a zoo. Jimmy decides to interrogate Samo by himself. Nice cut. Let's look at that again. That's brilliant! Breaking the balls to breaking the balls!
One more time.
Please, not again.
So Jimmy keeps up with the interrogation. I think Jimmy Wang Yu might have worked for the US forces in Iraq. And eventually he interrogates the guy's head into a toilet. Which I kind of hope he flushed first. So Sammo Hung reveals that he's working for the terror of the Asian underworld, a giant of international crime, a man so feared that few who know his name live. George Lazenby!
I tell you, this building is unsafe!
So they take Sammo to court to get him extradited back to Hong Kong. Unfortunately, gonzo stunt legend Grant Page has got himself a sniper rifle and is sitting on the roof of the building across the street.
Oh, you get to travel at the government's expense. You're a lucky man.
Well, it's a bit of a crap sniper. Time to set up, time to aim, time to take the shot, and all he got was one of his saggy man boobs. But given that this is his day job... I'll let him off. Jimmy Wang Yu chases after Grant Page. The chase is filled with thrills, spills, and unnecessary things like Jimmy knocking a man off a ladder. They finally face off in a Chinese restaurant's kitchen. Grant Page gets his trousers split and shows off his condor pants! And Jimmy fondles another man's balls. I'm seeing a pattern. The fight spills out into the restaurant and... the balls again. The South may rise, but this guy never will. So after the longest, silliest fight this side of Peter versus the Chicken, the thing that finally kills the assassin is a broken bottle over his head, and ending up slightly damp. Jimmy Wang Yu and the two cops talk about the identity of the late assassin, how he worked for Wilton, aka George Lazenby!
I tell you, this building is unsafe!
I just had a thought, if they remake this today, how about Philip Glenister as Roger Ward, Jack Black as Sergeant Gross, and Tony Jaa as Jimmy Wang Yu, called The Man from Bangkok. So we cut to George Lazenby, who is recovering well from his Tom Selleckoplasty and is ready to let his stuntman kick the crap out of a group of mixed martial arts experts. And having established that Lazenby can comfortably beat up his own henchmen, the film now allows the heroes to go and visit him. So Jimmy breaks the fingers of Lazenby's receptionist. Least subtle investigation ever.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
I guess this looks better. I guess this looks worse.
Okay, second least subtle. Sergeant Gross is not happy with Jimmy's methods.
This is Australia, mate! Not 55 days at Peking!
Hey, don't give me any shit.
I love that line, the way he says it. You can put it after anything.
Christ, you dirty beast! That's why our water gets polluted!
Hey, don't give me any shit.
Chaos reigns.
Hey, don't give me any shit.
It's a fake.
Hey, don't give me any shit.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Hey, don't give me any shit.
George Lazenby sends some goons to kill Jimmy. 2 Chinese men with knives, but it's Wednesday. So after beating his attackers up, Jimmy partakes in some oddly arty training footage and then sees a pigeon. A pigeon! I wish it was Monday. Wishing that he could have sex with the pigeon reminds him that it's a Thursday, a white woman day, so he goes to see the hang glider woman from earlier on in hope of getting some.
I'm looking for a man.
But Jimmy, it's Thursday! You'll have to wait until tomorrow! So Lazenby is doing his William Tell routine and the hang glider woman brings Jimmy to meet him. There's an instant attraction.
Don't tell me what to do, and don't tell me what to say. Please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display, 'cause you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way.
Lazenby seems to be a weird mix of Asianophile and racist at the same time.
I understand your culture, and your language, Inspector, and your martial arts. I've never met a Chinese yet that didn't have a yellow streak.
So they fight. It's not that interesting. Neither of the actors are actual martial artists. They just cheated and used stuntmen. You're not missing that much. The star of the film is Jimmy Wang Yu, a man who, according to the film Not Quite Hollywood, was racist, beat up the director while he filmed his cameo, narrowly avoided being assaulted by Roger Ward, and would eat flies before he had kissing scenes. So yeah, Jimmy Wang Yu was aptly named. Because he was a real knob!
I told you to stop making bad jokes.
Didn't I burn you? Burn that!
You think mere fire can stop me? I am the avatar of decent humour, and as long as those who profane humour live, so will I. And you profane it? A lot. But no more!
Burn that. Grind it up, feed it to dogs, kill the dogs, shred them, feed them to smaller dogs, take their feces, desiccate it, burn it, take the ashes, mix them with cement, and finally sow the area with salt.
Burn that?
Yes, burn that. The fight scene ends as pointlessly as it began, and later that night Jimmy decides to break into a martial arts training school that Lazenby owns. Seriously, this is getting ridiculous. Someone from the Hong Kong government comes to Australia, breaks into Australian businesses, beats up Australian citizens, and... wouldn't this cause some extreme friction between the two countries? He pulls the minion alarm and they come running. Minions! 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 Another groin hit. Fucking hell! This guy's the real life cock puncher. So Jimmy decides that 30 guys armed with bladed weapons is a little bit too much for him, and he runs. Bruce Lee, Tony Jaa, and Masoyama would have stayed. They would have made their enemies bleed. They would have made them feel fear. Jimmy's saved by some kids with a van. Luckily, not the kids from Children of the Living Dead.
Oh shit!
The kids take Jimmy to a vet. No comment. So Jimmy recuperates and falls in love with one of the kids. In the cheesiest and least subtle way possible.
Do you think you've recovered enough for me to make love to you?
I think I could stand the pain.
This is nice.
What did you expect? Acupuncture?
This is bad comedy.
In order to convince the audience that she has a point in the film, Sergeant Gross goes to see the hang glider woman.
I'm looking for a friend of yours.
You mean we have mutual friends?
Look, I want him out of here before we have to mail him home parcel post. This country's got a small population and he's getting through them very fast.
Yeah, he's killed about 12% already. Lazenby sends his elite driving team to kill Jimmy in rather crappy looking vehicles. The woman he just met and fell in love with dies in the crash, and he decides to get his vengeance on. So they drive, boom! Drive, smash! Drive, boom! Roger Ward and Sergeant Gross inspect some of the damage done by Jimmy in the car chase. Why? It gives Sergeant Gross a chance to show off his prototype Physics the Giant look. Jimmy goes to see the hang gliding woman and borrows the glider from the start of the film and uses it to get into George Lazenby's penthouse on the top floor of a skyscraper. I knew it! Chekhov's hang glider. So Jimmy and Lazenby face off. The sub Bruce Lee versus the worst James Bond. Bad acting versus bad acting. Able stuntman versus able stuntman. That's for the return for the man from Uncle. That's for the game of death. That's for Her Majesty's Secret Service. So while Lazenby is napping, Jimmy takes a look at the safe. It's filled with enough munitions to blow up a skyscraper. Which of course he'll end up doing. Jimmy arranges for Lazenby to have one of the funnier deaths in film history.
You're a hard act to follow.
Yeah, what do you do if an encore?
Now allow me to reiterate this. Jimmy Wong Yu is an operative of the Hong Kong government. He has come over to Australia, he has been assaulting Australian citizens, he has been breaking and entering, he has been stealing cars, he has been speeding, he has been destroying property, and he has been killing people. And now he has bombed one of their skyscrapers. Is it inconceivable that in the next couple of days we'll see something like this?
If fighting did break out, it will probably occur in Eastman's Town in the Upper Cataracts on the Australia-Hong Kong border. Our reporter Donald Bethlehem is there now. Donald, what's the atmosphere like?
Tension here is very high, Chris. The stretched twig of peace is at melting point. People here are literally bursting with war. This is very much a country that's going to blow up in its face.
Well, gentlemen, it seems you have little option now but to declare war immediately.
Well, this is quite impossible. I couldn't take such a decision without referring to my superior, Chris Patton. He's in Hong Kong.
Good, because he's on the line now via satellite. Mr. Patton, what do you think of the idea of a war now? I'll take that as a yes.
Very well, it's war.
War it is.
That's it, Chris. It's war. War has broken out. This is a war.
That's it. Yes, it's war.
So that was The Man from Hong Kong. It's not my favourite Chop-Socky movie, that's Fist of Fury, but it is a solid bit of action. It's one of those almost great films. It was originally supposed to star Bruce Lee, but his ill-timed death meant they had to recast. So they were left with Jimmy Wong Yu, who can best be described as not Bruce Lee. I'm Amanda Hagan, and I have to live with that every day.
You know you must be strong and hold your own.